After a devastating loss in this, which really was supposed to be just shakedown run, we had this out the day before the Ferrari race, and we didn't get to race it because there were too many wins in Las Vegas. We're gonna go ahead and unbox like a little drag box. Let's see how fast this car is right now. I'm so curious. It's like the most stable car here, and we ignore it because we're always building other cars. Let's see what this car can do. I fired it up really smooth because it's warm out. It should be just like it was at LS Fest, squealy as shit. So we're gonna fix that in the next video with a nice present from DC Power. Ignore the squeals. I'll tell you what, that's how smooth it runs, even with the throttle position not working whatsoever. There's no gauge on this car. The stock gauges are just it, and they're not even working fully. I wondered why it just was so hesitant at LS Fest. I mean, it ran great. TPS isn't working for whatever reason. I'm gonna tinker with the car a little bit, get her up to temperature. I had two things working against me. One is that I hadn't calibrated my throttle. So 0% was right here. Push on the pedal with your lips like this, and that was 100%. So I calibrated that, we're good. And then also my oil pressure safety was so aggressive that it said until it started cranking over to get 30 PSI, it wouldn't fire the car up. I have it waiting half a second. So what's nice is it does build pressure for half a second or so, and then it finally starts the car. So we have oil pressure every time the car fires, and yet it still fires up really quick. Let me show you what we got in for testing how fast the car is. So this is something pretty exciting. The guys over at Racebox sent me this about a year ago. I apologize for not getting to it sooner. I just haven't had a car where I can use this consistently, even though this is perfect for like every other car. So this little guy, you've seen these type of devices before, but this one I'm particularly interested in is, and again, this isn't sponsored, I just got it. This is the perfect opportunity to test this guy. Oh yeah. The reason why on this car, it actually has a cigarette lighter adapter. No, it does not. Wow, okay, so I feel bad because I haven't unboxed this at all, assuming that it only ran off of a cigarette lighter when it actually runs off of USB. I am so sorry, guys, at Racebox. I assumed that you had to plug this into the cigarette lighter. Any 5-volt USB anything would have worked this entire... Oh, we could have used this on the 4-rotor. I'm an idiot. You can use a 12-volt to 5-volt adapter and plug this into your cigarette lighter, which is what we'll probably do for the rotary vet, or anything that's USB. Uh-oh, the boss is here. Oh shit, this is super simple. Look at this. So yeah, it is USB, but this is the baddest USB-C thing ever. Look at that. Gas and go. I feel so bad. Man, I'm still feeling stupid from what I just did. I could have used it on the 4-rotor, the 3-rotor, everything has USB. I could have powered it off my laptop this entire time. Wow, this whole mount's reversible. I'm the bad guy again. This is so cleanly set up, and I'm like stuck in the 90s. And then here's the magnetic connector. That is so easy. And we can plug it into this. We're gonna run the GPS unit on here as well, so we get some really good, accurate data. We'll just stick that to the outside of the car. There's one kind of funny thing is that this little guy right here is the GPS antenna, and it has a magnetic base, which is great for every car except for Corvette, because Corvettes are not magnetic, they are fiberglass. So you can hear it. So we just double side tape this and put this up on the roof. Simply for quick testing, we're just gonna have it sitting like this. Boop. I stopped and actually read the manual for this, and this is embarrassing. You don't need any of these cables. First of all, I was charging it and realized it has its own battery. So disconnect that one and it turns on. Then I realized on here, under settings, internal, it's accurate down to a meter, and then I'm sure it gets down way below that. So you don't even need this thing either. We're now accurate to 2 feet, foot. So all with that device right there. Didn't need any of these other things. They give you all that. You don't need any of that. That's it. So then what we just did is we calibrated it just to make sure that it accelerates the correct way. Forward, backwards, left, right, up, down. So we calibrate that so it knows that Earth is accelerating downward. And all I did is I made sure it was in US numbers. And now we're just gonna do a drag meter. I guess we'll say speed. It's gonna measure, 0 to 60. At 2 miles an hour, I did it. Oh, I can't wait to have power steering. Work better than the 3-rotor. We are currently going 0 miles an hour. I'm gonna go ahead and press this. 5, 4, 3, 2. Okay, that's our 0 to 30. 4.2 seconds. Ew, that sounded horrible. Oh, I wasn't fucking logging any of that. I'm gonna go back around. 4, 3. We're gonna just take the 3-rotor. Clearly this car is in no shape to race whatsoever. It can idle and it can do nice smooth pulls, but launching has not been tuned whatsoever. And this ECU isn't really ready for that. Before daylight ends, I want to try it in the 3-rotor. We know that car can launch. We know that car can do that. So we're gonna set that thing in there real quick and go do that same thing at the 3-rotor. That kind of proves the point, doesn't it? Just a little bit. 0 to 30 in 2.7 seconds, we can finally hook up. We've got some work to do on this car.
I'm gonna guess that wasn't full throttle.
That was like 10% throttle. That was first gear. I shifted it to second early to try and get more traction to like torque it down. The tires, honestly, you guys can tell right there. You don't need a full Hoonigan production to see what's going on right there. But oh my God, I couldn't even hook. But that's how insane that car is at, I want to say like 30% throttle, maybe at most. It does say I went 0 to 30 miles an hour in 2.7 seconds.
Not bad.
Yeah, in 78 feet. So the very first run was the Corvette, 0 to 30, and that was it bucking, so we got to deal with that. This one was just pure slide insanity, and 2.7 seconds. I didn't even get to measure my 60 foot. Yeah, we just don't have enough distance.
You get some heat in the tires?
We could do that. But this is also asphalt, like not even like dirty asphalt, or at least the rocks could give us traction. None of this helps us test the car because it's like slicker, it's like softer. Let's take a look at the tracks because I want to show you something very interesting about this car. Look at this. I'm just slipping on top of this repaved. At least the tires are holding flat and tracking. Like, you can see that the alignment's solid. Check this out, guys. Look at how much old tire is left back here. It's not even like a burnout. It's like a dusting, like a pencil eraser dusting. Yeah, look at this. It's not like hot or anything like that. The story's right there. Say what you want about my driving skills. The tires are old, so they just roasted right off.
Sounds like the timing sucked. You got too high of idle to it. When you first came out, it sounded like you were dumping too much fuel.
Got a special engine in it. What we're gonna do this time with this car is I was looking at the wrong data. Going back and forth between ECUs is actually kind of scary when you're not accustomed to it. But what I'm gonna do is do a roll into it, like 2-3 miles an hour roll, and then punch it and see what happens. We are going to we go. 0 to 30. Okay, something's up. The car feels weird. But there we go. 2.2 seconds. Finally, some data.
That's how you're supposed to drive.
Yeah, it's getting there. She's getting there. That was 2.29 seconds from 0 to 30, not 60. I've done racebox no service. I am so sorry, guys. This thing is ridiculously amazing. It's got Wi-Fi. I can transfer all the sessions from right there. And look at this. This is our last run. I'm seeing as you guys see it. GPS accuracy, so it knows I'm 12 inches. Tells you the runs, the slope, if you have an unfair advantage. Well, in our case, we have a negative 1 degree slope, but that matters. 95 feet. Oh, this is what I was hoping. Yes. Look at that. That tells us we only went down 1 foot, so that doesn't really count. Okay, distance in 95 feet. We went 0 speed in 2 seconds.
Oh, look at the G-force all over the place.
Yeah, so that was the car. I think I felt the car doing some weird shit. But yeah, the G-force, let's look at this one. And it tells us up at the top, there's our very first launch, 0.6 Gs. And then 0.2, like there's the car fighting. That must have been what I felt. And then there's second gear kind of squawking a little bit. And then finally at the last second, 0.6 Gs again. So that's pretty stout for this little baby car. I'll give it that. Let's take a look at the three rotor session, which is this 2.79, and see if it looks any different. So this is the three rotor just sliding at 0.6, 0.7, dicking around the whole time. So technically, the rotary vet just ran a faster 0 to 30 time. This is going to be very instrumental in us not making fools out of ourselves anymore if we bring the cars prepared to our next races. This is a very big thing, as we haven't done any of this in the past. God, the racebox, no joke, that's just super impressive. The thing's got battery for days. I've charged it for 3 seconds and it's been on this whole time. I'm so impressed with this thing. So we can keep track of which cars are what, all that bullshit. I would recommend looking at this app and this racebox very seriously. It's ridiculous. This road might not be the best, but if we go maybe on the main street with this car and do some testing, I want to make sure that I wasn't pushing the car in weird ways. We'll keep pushing it a little bit harder, but this is the beginning of you seeing way more driving content on this channel.